Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is having a wonderful Thursday. Thursday after 2. Thursday after Scientology already closed their statistics for the day. So imagine that on Thursdays, they count how many minors were recruited that week. Imagine Scientology keeps track of that statistic. From last Thursday to this Thursday, how many minors are now religious volunteers? So, yeah, that's not something that should be. It's a things that shouldn't be report that our Scientology parents failed to write. Isn't that great, you guys, that our parents could have just typed up a things that shouldn't be report. Minors should not be ensnared in billion-year contracts. And, at least they would have attempted to raise a red flag. Like, hello, not the minors. Because as we've seen in this exact title of this video, you guys, is kids cannot consent Scientology. It's that simple. It is not a complicated subject. And today we are going to go and discuss a golden receipt. All right, you guys. So we're going to literally show you the golden receipt of receipts. The best receipt you can have is catch them doing it on video. It's a receipt that no police chief of the Clearwater is going to be able to go, oh, but we don't know anything. We have no idea. We have no way of understanding anything. We have no way of knowing anything. That pathetic excuse is going to be over after this episode. That pathetic excuse that we've been getting from the LAPD and Karen Bass, where they go, well, yeah, but all of y'all experienced that so long ago that we have no idea how to feel about anything because, the writings of a convicted, indicted felon have never been enough to prove a shred of a thing, apparently, in America. You guys, like, no matter how much deranged stuff L. Ron Hubbard put on a piece of paper, that has never been enough to prove anything. So another day, another layer peeled back, revealing the unsettling truth about Scientology's sinister machinations. As we react to this distressing video, confronted with the stark reality of how this organization systemically preys on children, luring them into a world where anything goes, and adults so blinded by their own stupidity that are at best useful idiots or at worst depraved predators, having a safe space to prey on kids while purporting that they were there to pray. Never mind in Scientology, the only praying we ever got was spelled, and check this out, guys, P-R-E-Y. P-R-E-Y. Pray. It was the children who were the prey. Not pray. P-R-A-Y. That was never done in that hotel. No one ever P-R-A-Y'd, but they all did pray. P-R-E-Y. They prayed on all the kids that they, as full-grown adults, that all the people that entered that hotel were and are made fair game out of the kids. This footage paints a grim picture of manipulation with innocent minds being groomed to accept the unacceptable. It is deeply troubling to witness how a child is exploited to normalize behavior that should never be condoned, much less protected. In what literal world? Turns out the so-called golden age of tech was and is nothing but a facade, concealing the true horrors lurking beneath its surface, ushering a true golden reign of terror. Reign of terror to all kids who were made participants to something they could have never had the capacity to be able to consent to. It's abominable and indefensible on its face. What's even more alarming is the brazenness in which these perpetrators implicate themselves in criminal activities, all while feigning innocence. They feign innocence. Very, very good at doing that. In 2 seconds, these people will have you convinced that they're just so innocent that no one had a shred of a clue what in the hell was going on. Meanwhile, the problem with the Scientology parents, the problem with the Scientology executives is that they all knew way too much. It is a testament to the depravity that runs rampant within Scientology's ranks. If you're struggling to comprehend the gravity of the situation, I urge you to take a moment and reflect. This isn't just about words on a screen or images on a screen. It's about confronting the harsh reality of abuse and systemic exploitation of all underage kids implicated. It's time for all of us to try and muster the courage to stand up against injustice and reclaim the humanity of all the kids currently being dehumanized and tortured by subjecting them to L. Ron Hubbard's disgusting audits. So, this is the golden age of receipt, you guys. Brought to you by none other than the mouthpiece, the literal mouthpiece that was used to lure adults, to subject kids to what they're going to show you right here, how comfortable they all were about everything we have been discussing in our videos ad nauseam. So here we go. Here's Chairman of the Board, RTC, presenting the golden age of tech. So we're going to start in this exact part because we're going to just be reacting to this exact part for now. So here we go.
We just expect an auditor to know what to do and when, without fail, without comm lag. By covering the data over and over, he gets it. So how do we make sure all data gets covered and correctly? With prepared drill scripts that list out questions for every possible auditing situation related to that type of auditing. The coach asks the student a question from the drill sheet.
So do you all see there? Do you have an ARC break? This is talking to you guys about how all of this insanity is groomed inside course rooms, grooming salons. These are the questions that are asked of adults with, including but not limited to, kids who are asking the adults these exact questions to groom the info, to make the info have this purported sense of validity. Check this, check that, check if it reads. You check the ARC break rude and it reads. That doesn't make sense in plain English. You check the ARC break rude and it reads, but it has a very exact significance here. You check the ARC break, that means the upset, euphemism for upset, rude, euphemism for rudiment. Rudiments are the three things Scientology wants to get out of you before you start a so-called session. And Scientology, before you start any session whatsoever, always, you have to make sure that the person doesn't have a so-called ARC break, what they're drilling here, which means an upset, a present time problem, which means anything that's worrying them, it could be distracting them from all the disgusting, nauseating questions that they're about to be asked. Present time problem, ARC break, upset, problem. The first two things they want to know if you have any upsets or any problems. The third thing they want to know is, do you have a miswithhold? Is there anything that you've done since the last time you sat in that hotel room holding cans, unable to move, anything you don't want that auditor to know? And you are not allowed to keep a single shred of secret. If you keep a secret, the technology doesn't work. L. Ron Hubbard made this point ad nauseum. The technology doesn't work if the people have withholds. The technology falls apart if the people have withholds. The technology falls apart if the person that's subjecting themselves to the audit is not in on the role play and the little adult game that they're going to be playing. So that's what all of that mumble jumble literally means. So at least now y'all know.
And student gives the answer. The answer is clearly noted on the drill for the coach to see. If it is correct, they move on. If it's wrong, coach refers them to the exact reference listed right in the drill, and student clears up the MU.
So what part of this is sounding religious to you guys right about now? Because I would love to have you guys ask yourselves that question with a straight face. In what world is this document where, repeat, the word was drill? You need to drill this. This is going to be a drill. This is going to be all make-believe. We're going to drill it here. You're going to pretend that this is happening, but it's not really happening. We're going to drill it with a doll. So you get really comfortable before we actually use your Thetan. So in what world is any of the stuff that you guys are seeing here for your own damn selves with your own damn eyes giving a religious experience for a child? Just imagine these are questions we were asking as children of adults.
Once that is done, they keep on working it through, drilling and drilling until it becomes a matter of his inner core.
A matter of our inner core, he says, is how us, the kids, had to be drilled. It had to become our inner core. Isn't that great that we were being made to become the inner core of a full indicted felon? Imagine how it feels to be 12 years old, being told to become the inner core of a disgusting felon that you don't know who in the hell he is. But everybody acts real pressed that he's so incredible and wonderful, you guys. Oh my God, L. Ron Hubbard, you have no idea the type of stuff that the pitch was nauseating and so fake. It's ridiculous, literally.
Sounds simple? It is. Because no matter what bugs come up, the drill tells you what to do.
What bugs come up? Isn't that great, you guys, that these people would literally call, if a child is being given a session, and all of a sudden, that child's being asked disgusting questions like, do you have an ARC break? Because an adult really needs to know if you have an upset because they're not your parent, they're just a random in a hotel, but I digress. So they go, oh yeah, do you have any ARC breaks, any upsets? And imagine that the child goes, no, No. And they're just like sitting in front of a random in a hotel, included like people that we only knew because they were there. And everybody said, oh, if they're here, then they're very vetted and they're very safe for you to pretend that they can do whatever they want to do with you. So if you told that auditor that you didn't have an ARC break and you didn't want to talk to him, that would be a bug. A bug is any time that the PC wasn't answering what they wanted to hear. They always expected the PC to say something that they wanted to hear. Do you have an ARC break? Oh, yes, I have this upset. This upset with my mom, this upset with my dad, blah, 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 on and on and on and on and on. All the information had to be written down. Who are they having upset with? Who are they having problems with? Who are they having withholds with and from? So, again, in what world is the inner core of a child safe to be role-playing what a convicted felon wrote on a piece of paper? Because that would be really great to start understanding how that actually works in the real physical universe, not in their delusion and their bubble of, oh, I believe this and I believe that. Well, you know what? Stop believing it. Stop believing it, all of you adults that are in there believing a lot of idiocies being pitched by this man who's a clown in a stolen valor uniform, pretending and purporting to sound real intellectual while all he is being used as a groomer. This is Monique Yingling's groomer. His name is David Miscavige. And you're about to see exactly how he's grooming everyone, adults and kids together.
In fact, any inability to do the drill is handled by doing the drill itself. And the passing standard ensures no quickie. One drills until
no quickie. That's not something you didn't hear. And no, it's not referring to a quickie in sex. It's referring to a quickie here where, you really have to get to the bottom of everything. Nothing can be a quickie. Nothing can be superficial. Everything has to be in depth. There is no, oh, can you tell me a withhold? Give me a quickie one. Oh, I stole a paper clip. Flunk. Why the fuck do you come back with a paper clip like that? Do you not confront evil? Do you not know that people go out there and commit evil felonies for which they haven't been arrested for? And if you do find them, we're going to make $100,000 that week. So better go find them or don't come back with bullshit paperclip withholds that we have nothing to do with. You can program a person to go up more levels if they're just blabbing BS. They want duns. They want real withholds. What are your felonies? What don't you want anyone to know? In what world is that a child's place to be doing that? Starting at age 12, repeat for the people in the back that are playing dumb. It didn't happen a lot. I was not the exception. I was the motherfucking rule. So since there were a ton of us delivering for the adults, what in the hell this man is pitching with a full straight face? I mean, you guys watch his face and tell me if this man doesn't sound and pitch things very confidently. But what in the hell is he actually pitching? Well, just stand around for a little bit more because you're about to see.
Until he can go from start to finish, no flubs. Some of these drills have several hundred questions. And believe me, there is no way one can make it through perfectly by chance.
So it wasn't by chance, right, David? It's not by chance is what your problem is. Nothing in your hotel was by chance, David. Nothing in your hotel was by chance, Debbie Cook. Nothing in your hotel was by chance, Mike Rinder. Marty Rathbun, nothing in that hotel was ever by chance. And that's the problem that all of you have today. Full-grown adult men and women that you are right now. By chance was nothing. Everything was planned. Everything was documented. Everything was video recorded. Everything was transcribed. So go and recall when you were ordering that information to be transcribed with that level of specificity. And now recall again if any of that included lawlessness and felonies for which you are now playing utter senile. And see if you can reconcile that little receipt for us real quick. Just see if you can reconcile it quick, since we literally have barely any bandwidth to listen to this utter stupidity that's being pitched with a straight face from a so-called American-bred god, L. Ron Hubbard, felon, convicted, indicted felon that he is. So by all means, FBI, type us a letter and tell us why it is that this is a very protected speech and very protected this and very protected that. And you're about to see a video, FBI, that hopefully really does reach your little eyeballs so you can explain to us what you're seeing in the screen, because that's what everyone is going to be watching on this live right about now.
But the real beauty is this. Because the drills include every possible auditing scenario, one really does learn it all. And guess what? It's quick. Do these people take weeks and weeks? No way. Instead, students fly through them. Why? No goofs, no bad coaching, no false data, no Q&A. One is simply learning the correct data and every right way to do things. He literally drills standard tech and so never gets caught up in the muck of uncertainty.
Literally, right, David? In the muck of uncertainty. They didn't want you to be uncertain. You couldn't afford to be uncertain when you were literally conducting that session. If you sounded uncertain for just a second, if you just quivered on a question, you would be getting corrected faster than your literal head could spin. You weren't even allowed to stumble a command. That's a perfect auditor. That's a perfect session. That's how perfect we had to be. Well, by all means, tell us, how is this going to make any sense for you guys? We're almost getting there, I promise.
Now, that's a key point, and let me reiterate it. These drills are so self-contained that you, all of you out in the audience, without any further training, could literally coach them. As a matter of fact, we could take someone who's not even an auditor, give them a 2-minute heading, and they could coach a student to perfection, even a student on an advanced auditor course.
So coaching to perfection. Let's really coach people to perfection. Words matter. So really start following what in the hell he's pitching. To perfection, kids were made to become who? To the core. Bingo. If you're paying attention, you answered L. Ron Hubbard. If you're not paying attention, then you're still clueless with the people all the way in the back, wondering if this was a church, a hotel. Oh, we were told that it was this and we were told that it was that. Well, you know what? Stop being told. Stop being told what it is and start opening your eyes and start using your own critical thinking skills to start making your own connections. So you're just not relying on being told anything.
And even when these untrained coaches gave a flunk for an incorrect answer, they'd be right. The drills are so specific that even if the student was a trained auditor, he wouldn't even bother arguing with his untrained coach because the flunk would have come right from a source reference. Sound incredible?
Well, you're about to see what's so incredible sounding. Okay, you guys, this is the part where, you know what, if you didn't go and collect for yourself a barf bag, the triggering part is coming. So if you don't collect a barf bag where you're going to have to vomit, if you were just eating dinner, sorry for you, but you might want to vomit when he shows you what he's going to show everyone with the straight face that he's going to show it with. Look, all of these people were there. Okay, you guys, and this is literally, I had been RPF'd 5 days before these people joined in this little event. So I wasn't a part of this little event because at that point I was already being watched by a self-admitted pedo. So isn't that great that at underage 16-year-old that I was landing there in their little literal RPF to be with a pedo while everybody was clapping over here about how drills were going to make people become the core of the indicted felon that they're all worshiping like idiots.
The only way to really comprehend what I'm talking about is to do it or see it. So let me make it graphic with the following video.
So just everyone write it down on your notes. Let me make it graphic. Literal quote from David Groomer Miscavige. So right here, you're about to see how easy it was to convince all the adults that you just saw there clapping like idiots, buying whatever is pitched to them. They cannot have a critical thought. They cannot push back. They cannot have a question about it. If they're not clapping like the bumbling idiots that you all just saw, they would be getting grabbed. You sound a little BIs. Come with me. We're going to interrogate you because you know something's not right with you. So come in, check what crimes he's committed because he's not really clapping. He's not really sounding that excited at what David is about to show you. So do get your literal vomit bag ready right now next to you. And let's really watch this video where literally he just said what he said.
Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent. Now, what I want you to do is coach a student auditor on how to properly handle an ARC break rudiment. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Good. From this pack,
Yes, sir.
read him the questions that are written in black. The correct answer is printed in red right beneath that. If he gives you the right answer, acknowledge him and go to the next question. If the answer is wrong, you flunk him and have him study the LRH reference, which is given right below the answer.
Okay.
Once he's cleared up his misunderstoods, carry on with the drilling from the point he flunked. Keep going through the drills until he can answer every question correctly in the entire pack, all the way through without a flunk.
Okay.
When he does that, give him a pass. Got it?
Yes.
Very good.
David Miscavige, the groomer. As if you didn't just implicate yourself, David. You were the one that everybody wanted to be like, right? Be like COB, you guys. You couldn't be better. There's no more ethical human in the world, where you just saw David being the master groomer to a child, no less. In real time, FBI, please advise. Because if you at the stupid FBI still don't see a shred of a thing wrong with this exact video, by all means, dig into the weeds already and start acting like you're just a bunch of pathetic imbeciles that cannot connect a shred of dot. You cannot investigate. You cannot pull a string. You cannot figure out why stuff doesn't make sense. Then why the hell are you getting paid over 6 figures to literally connect no dots, have no idea that grooming at an industrial size scale was done on underage kids to expose them to unthinkable tortures? So if you still didn't get it, don't worry about it, because we're about to show you more.
So, what are we going to do today?
Yeah. What are we going to do today? And what is the child doing? By all means, everyone in the chat, tell me what the child is doing? Tell me why that child is there with that disgusting grown-ass man, because that was me. In case everyone still doesn't get the memo, and still everyone still wants to play dumb, in case everyone still wants to give these people the benefit of the doubt that they don't have. Since they did what they did. This is a grooming film. This is what they were doing to us. The child needed to put the adult in the chair. In what world is a child calling an adult, Sir FBI, in a hotel room? This is a hotel room. This is a converted hotel room where we were having to do this exact thing that you're all seeing visually. As if this is not a literal time machine. There, if you had any questions what it looked like, now you see it. Oh, so what are we going to do today? What are we checking? What questions? What whittles am I going to tell you today? And yes, a child as young as her, as if it wasn't literally me, 12 years old, and sitting grown-ass men in chairs. Make sure that they're very comfortable. Is your chair comfortable? Do you have any tight clothes or shoes on? Okay, do you want to unbutton your zipper? Undo your zipper. Yeah, because you know what? The meter's not reading right. And if I don't get this TA between 2 and 3, I cannot start the session and my head gets chopped, put on a pike. So better that you do undo your pants. Better that you do undo your zipper all the way down. You cannot have any tight clothes or shoes on. Call the adult, sir. Make him unzip his pants. Make him sit down in the chair. What are we doing today? Now, mind you, this is a drill. So this is not real life. She's not a real auditor yet. But this is how young I was when I was being lured to do this as a 12-year-old.
Don't worry about a thing. Just please be seated and we'll start.
Sure.
Don't worry about a thing. Just please be seated and we will start, is what we were saying to these grown-ass men and women that were being afforded the luxury of paying, including but not limited to $500 an hour for this time with a child. So what did Jeffrey and Jelaine do? Oh yeah, they were charging that much, paying the children. Imagine these people were paying with the proxy of Debbie Cook. Give Debbie Cook the 10 grand and Debbie Cook will make sure you get the underage minor of choice that you want. Just don't forget to tip her with the 15% preferential rate. Because if you tip her with that, then yes, you'll end up with a one of choice.
Ready to start?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Start of drill. You start a session as first action, check the RC brake code and reach at the fall. What do you do?
Just like that, you guys. That's what the grooming looks like. So before everybody gets very confused, oh, human trafficking is so confusing, you guys. It's all just so confusing. It wasn't confusing inside of that hotel. When they infantilize all of the adults, like that disgusting man that's in front of her, as if he's not like the literal representation on who these disgusting predators are. They all looked like him. They all dressed like him. They all sounded like him. Having amazing religious experiences sitting across 12-year-olds. Why FBI? Where's the religious experience that we're failing to see here? Department of Justice. Where is the religious experience? Start typing what the religious experience is in this grooming film. Start typing it. You cannot type fast enough. What has changed for kids as of 2024? Nothing. Exactly what you see here is a time freeze of exactly what is going on in the hotels. Why do you think Scientology is shutting down all blinds? Why do you think Scientology is busing all the people inside vans so that nobody sees them? Because this is exactly what they're hiding. This is what Mike Rinder doesn't want you to know. This is what Marty Rathbun doesn't want you to know. This is what Claire Headley doesn't want you to know. This. They were all part of the golden age of tech, golden age of terror on kids. They made all children fair game of these disgusting drills that are indefensible on their face, what they were grooming. And if you don't know, go get a mirror and self-reflect. Shut the hell up for a second and see if any self-awareness might come up in the mirror. Like anything there? Is this stimulating a withhold for y'all that don't want to come clean about what this is? This is the abomination. This is disgusting. This is what was going on in those hotels. 24/7, 365, all the time. Everyone's okay with it. Where's the red flag? Has been raised on this practice. Where is it? You have a whole hotel called Flag, and no one has raised a single shred of red flag. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Take up the rudiment.
Good. The PC answers yes. He does have an ARC break. What do you do?
Get the data on it briefly.
Good. The PC tells about the ARC break. What do you do?
Find out by assessment which point the ARC break occurred on.
Good. What do you say?
Was that a break in affinity, reality, communication, understanding?
Good. The assessment reads on communication.
And you can see, and it's probably clear in my thumbnail, guys, but she has a Sea Org shirt on this child. Now, this uniform, unheard of, unseen, we never saw it. A shirt with a Sea Org symbol on it right here. So how was all of this dysfunction groomed at an industrial size scale? Is anyone keeping a shred of note? Because this visual is sickening. It's sickening to see that this is all it took. This is all it took. Did you have anything to do with this, Mitch Brisker? Did you record this video? By all means, advise. If it wasn't you, okay, well, great. But if it was you, if you were behind the creative on this, by all means, advise, because you know what is giving grooming? Who the hell was the groomer behind orchestrating this disgusting video? Right about now, it would be great to really understand that for ourselves. Since apparently this video is all it took for everyone to just grab a thing and pattern drill it with no critical thinking skills, implicate minors, who cares? There's Serge, there's Lily, there's Iride, there's Danya, there's Jenna, there's Laura, there's Nora. Look how many minors are here. Everyone's here as a minor. Everyone's here in a hotel. Everyone's here is going to get a certificate. Everyone here is studying. What in the hell were we studying? What type of academic studies go on between 12-year-olds and grown-ass men like the one that you're seeing right here? Because that would be a great thing to really have answered for ourselves right now. In what other church are 12-year-olds expected to do what you're seeing here? In what other church? We want to know. Right now, FBI, in what other church? Type it. Type that answer for us. You owe us the answer. This is you, the FBI, owes us an answer why a child is being used like this, why this child would have ended up sitting in this exact thing, but now with a meter, asking that disgusting grown man if he had a miswithhold. Oh yeah, I was fantasizing about you the other day and I, masturbated thinking about you. The child is transcribing what the pedo just said. People are watching with video recordings on top. But the child just told him, oh, but your needle is floating now because you really did tell me everything. Thank you so much for telling me. That's what they told us, that we were helping. That telling them that their needle was floating was doing something to save a world. In what world was that saving a shred of person, FBI, since it was that level of self-admitted felonies? Believe you me. Oh, yeah, and it was 2 weeks ago when I was masturbating thinking about you, is what they would say. Oh, yeah, it was just 2 weeks ago. It was in the shower. Oh, you know what? It actually started in my bedroom when I got hard. And then I reached over for the standard hand cream, and then I put it all over my thing, and I was just thinking about you and I in another lifetime that I did stick it in you, and, we were just, having a great old time, and you know what? You and I have so much ARC, I feel like I know you from another lifetime, and, I didn't want to tell you because I did feel like it was a withhold, and I didn't want you to know. For us to just continue writing, okay, Write it. So in what world do these people have plausible deniability? In what world, if everything was written and transcribed as it happened, as if we don't have the video here to show you all, imagine they have videos where they're not drilling. Imagine they have videos of this reality as we speak. Imagine that the FBI purports that they cannot go and knock on the door and grab the videos and check if there's anything weird with kids being, what is it? Kidnapped, held against their will, false in prison. What do you want to call this? If this little girl said, hey, you know what? This guy is weird. I don't like his vibe. I want to leave. Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? You can't go anywhere. You're not allowed to leave the room. Get back to your chair. Do the drill. Like David just told. Everything was do the drill. Do the drill. If you have a problem, do the drill. If you don't want to do it anymore, do the drill again. If you think that you think this is weird, just do it. Do it until you really do it. And, all of a sudden you're going to really have a breakthrough if you just keep on doing it, no matter how disgusted you were. Their answer was always the same. Do the drill and do the drill and get everyone groomed and get everyone implicated, everyone drilling this disgusting power dynamic imbalance that is not giving very religious vibes. Right about now, Chief Slaughter of the Clearwater Police that said that we deserved everything that happened to us in those hotels was just, very hard to do the job that you had. Imagine.
So with the fall, what do you do?
Check it with a PC.
Good. The PC replies that he feels this is a break in ARC, not a break in communication, and does not understand why this assessment is being done. What do you do?
I would indicate it was a break in ARC.
Flunk! Correct?
Did y'all just see the tone in which that girl flunked their submissive? These people were training us to be doms. We're training us to be 12 years old. Repeat for the idiots that are pretending this is not happening. This cannot be. How is this all a religious experience? Apparently, per the IRS, breaking news to you, in case you didn't get the memo, that the IRS does say that this is just very religious what's going on, and no one can have an opinion about it because God forbid, God literally forbid that this is not aggravated child abuse, intellectual abuse, indefensible power dynamics that don't make a shred of sense other than to predators. If you're a predator, this is making your literal mouth water. Right, Scientology parents? Whose girl was this provided to David to film this? Who was the mom that allowed this to happen? If anybody out there knows the name, by all means, email it. Email it quickly so we can really find out who thought, what would be really great for my underage child that barely knows how to read to be used to groom this at a large international scale. because this is where it all started to get groomed. Thanks to David, thanks to literal Marty Rathbun, and they were all about, let's really expand on the technology, you guys. Let's really come up with ways to make it easier. Let's really come up with ways to, make it so standard across the board. So everybody's the same, and we can just use even literal kids to train more people to make more money for this, religious experiences that everyone is really having at the expense of who? David, Mike Rinder, Marty Rathbun, Debbie Cook, Angie Blankenship, Jenny DeVocht, Supishay Gentry, Claire Headley, Angie Trent, Ricky Jensen. At the expense of who was this? At the expense of who? Answer the question and don't play dumb. Nobody cares about your plausible deniability that doesn't exist except in your delusion.
Correct answers. Clear the ARC break assessment procedure with the PC so understands it. Here's a reference.
The coach ensures the student restudies the reference, clearing his misunderstoods until he fully understands it. Then they begin
Fully understands it. So there you go. In what world do you Scientology parents want to say that I didn't understand what we were doing? You all clear the words? You all just heard COB said until they fully understand it? Well, great. Then defend that. By all means, start defending yourself. Since all of you did it, there's no Scientology parent that didn't help themselves to kids being drilled by kids, being given ethics cycles by kids, given audits by kids, given whatever access to kids you were getting inside the hotel, with you nowhere to be found on the public record repudiating what in the fuck you'll done.
again at the question he flunked and carry forward with the drill.
Restart drill. The PC replies that he feels this is a break in ARC, not a break in communication, and does not understand why this assessment is being done. What do?
Clear the ARC break assessment procedure with the PC so he understands it.
Very good. After
So does anybody know what in the hell he just said? Because only that little girl and I understand what in the hell he just said. Why is it that just her and I know what in the hell he just said, and you guys don't understand what in the hell was just said? Because that is the drill of L. Ron Hubbard. Encode everything. Make it all just hocus pocus enough so that everyone with critical thinking skills that doesn't have them cannot see through the charade, through the stupidity of it all. Because this is all it took. 74 years of this being done on minors, this being groomed on minors as young as this girl that you all can see for yourselves how old she was. This is Jenna Miscavige. This is Laura Anderson. This is me. This is Nora. This is Aaron. This is Colin Smith-Levin. This is all the kids that were being put to be groomed through courses to become adults, to become sec checkers, to become supervisors, to become case supervisors, to become this, to become that, all indefensible, disgusting positions that we would love to hear right now from you, Mike Rinder. Write a blog about that right now. What were children of this age doing inside of your grooming salons? Where you were using, including but not limited to people like me, to groom more minors. Oh, look, there's a supervisor that's young. Look, he's just 14. But you know what? He'll teach you everything you need to know. Because it wasn't just the girl sitting down. It was the supervisor. It was the work clearer. It was the admin court supervisor. Who wasn't a minor is what the question should really be. Who was not a minor? Well, a ton of the executives, but even those, then they would be like, oh, you're very ruthless. Come here. You're going to be really great over here being an ethics officer, yelling and screaming and literally humiliating adults that are paying for it. They love getting yelled at by 14-year-old little girls. Disgusting. In what world has this been done at an industrial size scale? And there is zero repudiation for this. For this. This exact practice that you're seeing on the screen is what is indefensible. This is Scientology drills. This is Scientology audits. This is Scientology. The technology, the so-called technology is Scientology. This connection is not technology. All the other short stories that have been put on the public record to make it all so nebulous and hard to really think about it, because, we did hear that, the Jehovah's also disconnect people, and, no one can tell an adult to not disconnect from another adult. So, oh yeah, it sucks to be them. They're really divided. If they don't do what they're told, they're going to get disconnected from. Well, that is not the problem in Scientology. Who gives a shred of an F about that problem? It's called in Scientology altered importance. Right, Mike Rinder? When you just bring up a problem that's really not that big of a problem, but you just put it in there and stuff it and make it the top priority problem. Because what? Because that's an altered importance, so you don't get to what is really the problem. It's called an outpoint. You would know all about outpoints. So everything you regurgitate is a total altered importance. Start getting your actual withholds off that include why so many of our childhoods were ruined, locked up in hotel rooms with grown-ass men such as this one doing what you all are now seeing on video. So you haven't been told. This is not my interpretation. This is y'all see what in the hell is on this video. By all means, make it make sense. FBI, make this make sense to us. Quickly make it make sense. Quickly tell us why this is a literal interpretation of religion in the United States of America. Please.
Clearing up the action of ARC break assessment, the PC says that he gets how this works, but is not totally sure.
They continue with the drill, page after page, with the coach asking questions from the drill pack and making sure the students' answers are correct.
This goes on for hours and hours and hours ad nauseum. So if anyone's confused why everyone's so well groomed, just look at the stupidity of it all. Look who's being pitched to an entire audience of thousands and thousands and thousands of Scientologists. That in what world can people really claim, oh, we didn't know they did it with children? Well, you know what? You saw this film. Because everybody was expected to watch the golden age of tech release. No, never miss it. It was a crime to miss it. God forbid you didn't watch it and you were in Scientology in 1996. So again, there is no plausible deniability because they all bought the pitch. It was pitched at an international event. These people weren't hiding anything. These people were normalizing it there at scale. Oh, we're all into this, right? Everyone's still okay. L. Ron Hubbard is great, right? Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard is great. Look how great L. Ron Hubbard is. Look what L. Ron Hubbard gave his proteges. In what world would it not be great for L. Ron Hubbard's proteges to see this and then no one says anything? The mother who literally volunteered her child to be used in this way to, again, groom this at an entire international scale. People in France saw this. People in Germany saw this. People in Mexico saw this. People in Colombia saw this. People in Switzerland saw it. Then people in South Africa saw it. Then people in Australia saw it. And then people in England saw it. And then people in Spain saw it. And Denmark also saw it. And Russia also saw it. And Japan also saw it. And where is the country that didn't see it? Where is the country that didn't see this piece of grooming garbage? Where is it?
On each flunk, they clear up any misunderstoods to ensure the auditor fully understands the LRH reference.
Fully understands, right, David Miscavige? So how did any of your proteges can play dumb, having left the hotel and having apparently fully understood a shred of a thing? In what world was this all fully understood? And then all the people that have left, oh, you know what? We never thought about it like that. There were children, but they were adults, you know. They were thetans. We were doing them a favor by calling them thetans, you know, because they were just adults. Who cares about that? You know, that's a meat body. A meat body is nothing. They're a thetan. Don't call them bodies. That's what the government tells you to. Yeah, that's what the government tells you, and that's what statutes of limitation also tell you. So all Scientology adults, go call yourselves good criminal attorneys. So you can start really showing them this video and say, if I was doing this to my own children, if I was exposing this to my own children, if I allowed for people to have their way with my children in this way, is that just going to be great? Every jury in America would find nothing wrong with this, again, PG rated version of what it is. This is still on the surface, you guys. This is a little girl just being used to ask questions like a parrot. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? It was all pitched like it's all just a what do you do environment. Oh, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You're listening to what do you do all day long so that you literally become L. Ron Hubbard to the core, just like David Miscavige just pitched it. So all Scientology parents, why did you allow your children to be turned into L. Ron Hubbards to the core? Why? How does that make a shred of sense? Scientology parents, all of you, there isn't one that is exempt. You expose your child to this, then answer the question and stop playing dumb. Because all you ever do is, I was a victim, I had no idea, you know. If anyone should have just said something about it, well, you know what? None of you have said anything. That's what's the problem today, that none of you have said a shred of a thing is wrong, and everyone's still very confused in America. Is it a cult? Is it a religion? Is it a hotel? Is it technology? Is it Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine on steroids and crack? Is it the adults? We're having a really hard time getting beaten up by David Miscavige on a terry cloth robe. You know, we really should analyze the dynamics of adults getting beaten up because they loved it and they got off for decades, being David's little minions that would do whatever in the hell David said. Kneel down on the floor and lick. And there was Mike Rinder. Oh, let me go lick. Okay, good boy. Stand up. Okay, yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Will never happen again, sir. That's who you were, Mike Rinder, licking floors on command behind closed doors. Then you did put your little suit on and come around, I'm Mike Rinder, really going to tell you how to save a world. So sit down and listen to what I have to pitch. What you're pitching is all your delusions of your psychopathy based on your firsthand experience with L. Ron Hubbard, who you thought was the shit, apparently. Because that's how you've been pitching him as his publicist that you were and still are.
They carry on doing this over and over again until he can do it all the way through the pack, from start to finish, with no flunks.
One flunk and you had to redo the entire pack from the very beginning, you guys. One flunk and flunk. That's not the answer if you weren't able to sound like that. Then they wouldn't let you drill adults. So they were very highly selective. This one good, this one good, this one's too dumb, this one just cries too much. Just send her to wash dishes, send them to wash pots, you know, just have them do gardening, have them do mess work. Is what they would do. So they were highly selective. This one qualifies, this one doesn't. This one's good for it, this one isn't. All kids. all underage, all looking like this.
Everything that could possibly happen while running an ARC break is covered.
Everything that could possibly happen while running an ARC break is covered. So thank you, David, for telling us that. Since now we know on the public record for every single last shred of person in America that is wondering if David knows, that is wondering if Mike Rinder knows, that is wondering if Claire knows, that is wondering if Angie Trent knows, that is wondering if Supishay Gentry knows, that is wondering if Marty Rathbun knows, that is wondering if any other person that was in those technical so-called divisions knows. Because breaking news, they all knew. That was the drill. Implicate, know everything, get everything, data mine everything. No boundaries, no common sense, all video watched, all transcribed, all supervised by adults. So where's their plausible deniability? Where's the we didn't know? Where's the, oh, we never saw it like that? You saw it like that and you liked it like that. Where's the evidence that you didn't like it like that? There is nothing on the public record that I can find that really repudiates a shred of anything with any right estimation of effort to speak to all of you Scientology idiots that want to play dumb and pretend that, oh, maybe if I play dumb and dumber here, then they're not going to find out. Maybe if I just, act real confused, then they're not going to find out. You know what? Don't act confused. Save yourself that time to act confused. Because thanks to what's already on the literal public record, we have it here, what it took to groom all of you to be okay. All of you to be like, you know what? Kids can be involved. It's as simple as ABC, 1, 2, 3. They don't need to be in school. They don't need to be anywhere. They need to be here with us, learning the technology of L. Ron Hubbard, because that's how we're going to really save our world. What world was being saved by this man sitting across this young 12-year-old girl? What world was saved? Right now, people, please put it in the comments. What was the world that was being saved? Because you know what? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the FBI needs y'all's critical thinking skills. Because apparently there are no critical thinking skills in America. Apparently critical thinking skills are bought and sold in the black market.
From the most fundamental to the most difficult.
You asked for an earlier similar ARC break. The PC says no and the question does not read. You check if there's any more to his last answer and he says no. You put in the suppress button on the earlier similar question and it does not read. You check validate, no read. Then you check careful, fail to reveal, anxious about and protest, no reads. Then you check not is, abandoned and misunderstood, no reads. You check for a bypass FN that didn't read. You check for a session miswithhold and no read. What do?
You direct the PC's attention to a charged area from the last ARC break that was run and find out if there's anything more on that area.
Cool. Pass.
Cool, pass. And the child being made to shake the hand of that disgusting man that paid to be part of the hotel, that got vetted before he was allowed to go inside the hotel, that the hotel executives, including Mike Rinder, including Marty Rathbun, including Debbie Cook, and all their minions were very pressed to make sure had no connections with who? With the FBI, with the CIA, with the Department of Justice, with the Department of National Security, with the, DHS, with ICE, with anybody. Oh, no, you qualify. You qualify to come in here to the hotel and, do these drills that are going to help you save a world. Because, just do this all day, all night, and, you're really going to get anywhere with a 12-year-old that we're going to supply to you, as if chairman of the board RTC wasn't comfortable putting this little compilation together. And then what? Pitching it to who? This was pitched to all Scientologists. So again, all people that are like, well, maybe this one didn't know. Well, maybe this one didn't know. Well, maybe that one didn't know. Well, how about they knew? How about this was actual news that were being discussed at their international events? Where this is the type of propaganda films being used to groom the fact that, yes, a child of her age could be in those course rooms and she would be told that she's incredible. Aren't you such a prodigy? Aren't you so wonderful that you're so old and you're asking all these questions and you're, oh, you're so amazing. Oh, you must have been a last lifetime. That's what these people would tell us. You're a last lifetime. Aren't you so lucky to be here being enslaved and abused and being used as a machine of depraved adults, both men and women. This was not an all the men were adult predators and the women weren't. The women were just as disgusting. Anyone who has anything to do with this is already that. Compliments of L. Ron Hubbard. If you have a problem with that description, take your complaints to L. Ron Hubbard himself. Write a little letter to him. Go connect with him in the Theta universe if you want. See if we give a fuck.
Yes.
There's all the people implicated, all people that know are right there for everyone to see. Look at all of those adults, all just so comfortable and just so happy to have seen this. Oh my God, this makes so much sense to me. This is what I've been seeing all over the flag course rooms. This is what Debbie Cook's so-called Mecca of technical perfection looks, sounds like, and is like. How many adults didn't get the pitch? You guys can all see it for yourselves. By all means, start connecting your own dots. Because yes, the travesty is that the kids didn't have a shred of advocate on the inside thinking, what in the literal abominable hell is this? Imagine that is the year 2024, and here we are, how many decades later, calling it out because we did find this for ourselves with a simple Google. Oh, look, everything I've been saying is right there. How old was that little girl? By all means, in the comments, guess it. Guess it and write it down. She looks like this. She looks like that. That's how old I looked when I was being used. And it was full of kids that looked like that. And all the parents were okay with it. Every parent that walked into those course rooms never said, why the kids? Why are they being audited? Why are the kids being handed ethics cycle? Why are minors inside of this hotel? Where is that question coming from anybody? As of this year, 2024, we would love to know what it was. For all the people that really want to blow a whistle, then by all means, show us, send us the screenshot of you raising these concerns. In what world are we here 74 years later and everyone's still acting confused? It's not confusing. What you all saw in that video is not confusing. It's nauseating. It's disgusting. And like I said at the very beginning of this, if you don't see it, then go find your humanity because we cannot help you. If you don't see it, then you have no conscience. And that's why all Scientology adults need to wake up. This is your wake-up call. This is your literal wake-up call. Denounce who in the hell you've been. Denounce being a clown of L. Ron Hubbard. Denounce literally subjecting unthinkable minors who could not consent to all of that. That's all that's being asked of you right now. That's literally the first step of ethics, is get your ethics in. So by all means, tell us what you did wrong in this scenario, and don't feed us the paperclip withholds that Marty and Mike Rinder and Debbie Cook and Angie Blankenship have all been feeding the narrative. So they look like victims of once upon a time, David did beat us. We all did have cell phones. We all did know the attorneys that represented the hotel. We all had personal relationships with them because we had called them every time a felony was perpetrated in our hotel to be advised. But you know what? We decided not to call when a felony was being allegedly committed by David. But you know what? The Tampa Bay Times is going to pitch us as the victim heroes that we're not, given that we're at the very top of this food chain, dishing out the adults, complicit up to our neck and ears, and nowhere to be found on the public record except for what? Oh, you know what? It really sucks to be you, to have really bad beliefs, because the beliefs and the beliefs and the beliefs. And if we only get rid of OSA, you guys, then you know what? Everything's going to be great. You know, let's get rid of David Miscavige. And, you know, then the world's going to really get cleared by David Miscavige being gone. I'm so sorry that you had such evil adults around you. This is pure evil. Thank you, Freelance Adventure. Thank you for seeing the truth and stating it. I mean, it takes 2 sentences. And, you know, shout out to all of you guys, because again, it's like, yes, it's unthinkable that we have to sit here years, decades later, reconciling these receipts, finding this evidence that's been kept from us. It's been on the public record. All corporate media together apparently has no critical thinking skills. To anyone they paid to touch the story to have missed this that was uploaded to YouTube. Imagine that the grooming of kids with this level of obscene. Nothing wrong with this. Everyone watch this. Let's all clap together, because you know how many adults did it take to collectively observe children being used in this manner, to collectively agree that a disgusting depravity wasn't going to take place. Because a religious experience was being had, is what all that's been pitched. A religious experience for who is the question. Who's having religious experiences? That's right, DG. It sort of casts the child as an angel. Except for when she's saying flunk. You guys saw how she was made to be very angry then. Oh, flunk. And that's what it was, you guys. I mean, I was very angry too. I had to flunk them like that. That's why RTC loved me. You weren't chosen if you weren't willing to yell at adults. Trust me, like if you weren't willing to yell, they're getting literally rid of you faster than your head can spin. They're going to tell you that you're a namby-pamby dilettante, that you don't want to save a world, that you amount to nothing, is what you're being told. Voice of one crying, it's so hard to listen to these stories, but how much harder must it have been to have lived a nightmare? Thank you, Voice, for one crying. Yeah, it is a nightmare. It is a nightmare, but, you know, we did overcome it, but the kids that are there haven't. That's the only thing that holds weight in this conversation at the end of the day. You know, at the end of the day is the fact that kids are still being exposed to this as we speak, no matter how much we've tried to be so clear. It always gets ignored. Well, you know what? We did find it on tape. Lucky for us this time. So we have it on tape. You all have seen it. Everything I've explained to you about what I was doing in the courtrooms is that, but this was the PG rated version. So imagine that the other version is not triple X. It's 100X. Because again, all the other stuff happened with no boundaries. In what world are no boundaries allowed with this level of power dynamic imbalances between adults and children? FBI Crimes Against Children Unit. That's a question for y'all there in that department. Make that make sense. Type it. Type it for yourself. If you can't explain it to yourself, then figure it out. Figure it out really quick, since there's plenty of stuff there that you have to literally make sense. Question, just so you know, do all of Scientology still in the cult know this is going on? In what world do they not know, is our question. Remember, again, this was a film that's been shown at the organizations over and over. Owen Hubbard is David Miscavige made himself the golden child of the one that really knows how the technology is done, and the technology. And yes, thanks to him, now you have it. That it couldn't have been more rote, that it couldn't have been more systemic, that it couldn't have been more institutionalized, that it couldn't make every single adult Scientologist that goes inside of those hotels, that has a paid membership, with a lot to literally explain for themselves. Because who is not getting access to kids? Literally. I keep hearing from ex-Scientologists that people still in are nice people. I'm having my doubts. The cult brings out the worst in people. And the cult protects the worst of people. And the cult literally is implicated in indefensible acts against minors who cannot consent. Whether they wanted to or not is irrelevant. What happened is deplorable. What's happened is illegal AF. As if we're not even clear on that, you guys. We're way past the point of wondering if it was legal or not. It wasn't legal. It was all quasi-legal if you hear Marty Rathman speak, if you hear Debbie Cook speak, if you hear Mike Rinder speak, if you hear all these people that, it was a this and it was a that, and then Xenu and then blah, and then, the disconnection and the short stories that we're going to put out there to pretend that we're coming clean when their actual withholds are not being confronted. What don't you want the FBI to know about you, Mike Rinder? That was a sec check question I was allowed to ask. So by all means, let's give you that question. Let's give you that question too, Marty Rathbun. What don't you want the FBI to know about you and what you were doing to kids? You and your wife, Ann Rathbun. Let's not forget, she's already been mentioned by Jenna. So Ann Rathbun and you, as a collective couple that were David, whatever David says we're going to do, lick a floor, sure. Let me get down on my knees. Let me start licking, sir. Lick your boots, sure, sir. Whatever you say. With Shelly Miscavige just as implicated, doing anything David asked for. So before everybody goes on a sob story about Shelly, she is implicated up to her neck and ears. She's got zero plausible deniability. She oversaw it all. She's the one that knows the most. Second to David, second to Mike Rinder, Debbie Cook. They all know, they were there for decades, you guys. Self-admitted there for decades. In what world were they data mining 24/7, 365, and then end up with, we didn't know anything. Must have really happened without us knowing. Nothing happened in those hotels without them knowing. Nothing. The witchy woman, they know. They just twisted in their cult way to prove the superiority of the cult practices. I mean, and you see it right here with David wearing his little gown to the thing and looking all official. Official as what? What world were you saving, David? And in what world you were saving a world by enslaving kids? Make that part of your pitch make sense. It's okay to make adults who want to be slaves. No police department is going to come and save a willing adult slave that is willing to consent, that is willing to sign off, that is willing to give themselves out to whatever in the hell they're into in there. That's allowed. So they have convinced themselves that children are just adults in small bodies. Therefore, it's okay to treat them and talk to them like grown adults. That's right, boys. One of the crying. This is horrifying. Could they have used more innocent looking child for the video? This is a thirst trap for pedophiles. Yeah, disgusting. I mean, again, guys, but nothing was done by mistake. David approved everything. So somebody pitched to David, let's really use a young girl because then, nobody's ever going to have a shred of a problem, mainstreaming this. And then no one's going to have a question that why are kids in the courtrooms implicating themselves being groomed to do this? Thank you, Marina. We appreciate it. Hi, Rachel. I mean, y'all are seeing it for yourselves, you guys. And this is literally, again, this is why I'm calling this the golden age of receipt. Because this is a golden age of receipt. And yes, they were very pressed to no one see their events on the outside because why were they so pressed that no one could see these events on the outside? We never understood it inside of the hotel, you guys. It was always like, oh, you're so special because you can see the event, but no one else can from the outside. Well, yeah, no wonder no one else could see it on the outside. I mean, with what kind of straight face could they just bring someone from the street who would have seen this type of drilling being done for kids, not find it nauseating? They were crisis managing against that 24/7, 365. So if they were so convinced that everything they did was so legit, then in what world were they so pressed to have no one have a shred of oversight or come in to see this level of event? All the people that you saw here in this event were all vetted before they were able to take a seat. You've seen the level of security that they have. You've seen that they screen every person. Who are you? Who are you? We don't know you. Well, so that's where this leaves us. That's what this is literally leading us today, you guys. So I don't want to cover anything else from this video because there's so much more to cover, literally. But right now, I think that just the first aspect of this child being used to drill adults is something that y'all are going to have to really kind of have that really sit with you. For all of you have been wanting to know, why are we advocating? What are we protesting? We're protesting this. So you, Clearwater Police Chief, stop playing dumb that you don't understand what the problem is. If after this video has been made available for you and your stupid investigators who cannot investigate their way out of a literal paper bag, we would know we were investigators in there. So by all means, if we did learn something in Scientology, thank you, L. Ron Hubbard, is how to investigate, how to look beyond, pull the string. Why the hell does this not make sense? Why? Find the Sherman tank. And the Sherman tank is this 12-year-old doing what I was doing as a child that I've been told by the Clearwater Police was a 100% religious experience. I signed up for it. In what world am I wasting their time? But yeah, thank you, Chief Slaughter, for sending it to the FBI, because I'm sure the FBI has really looked at my file and really poured through what in the hell they did to me inside of that hotel with full specifics. We're not even getting into any of that in these videos, you guys, because we're covering the broader picture. But imagine that all the info of what was done to me what was done to the Jane Doe that filed her police report in Clearwater Police at the same time. Someone that was freshly out, Valeska Perez, who had to go get a civil attorney to file something because, oh, we can't do anything about anything. Better luck next lifetime. This is what's being literally protested. No Scientology parent can defend this today. It's indefensible. Try it. We welcome the pushback. We welcome the idea that yes, 12-year-olds can be doing that and they are having religious experiences to themselves, and randoms in hotels can get access because their parents said it was okay. And there was all manner of, backhanded deals apparently that our parents were making unbeknownst to us to definitely call all of this very, very legal and very, very right. So continue to ask questions, continue to demand accountability, continue understanding that is the kids that need the advocacy first and foremost. Then figure out what in the hell you do with the rest of the adults. Figure it out, FBI. Don't put that problem on us. The only problem we are asking help with is canceling their unfettered access to underage kids. 12 and under. Begin with that age bracket. By all means, let's break it down. So let's not give you too much to chew on. Can we ask that no 12 and under can be exposed to the scourge of this, what you all just saw with your own eyeballs? Is that too much to ask of the FBI Crimes Against Children unit? Because if we cannot even make that request to y'all, then I guess the law is a delusion. And white men in America can break the law in front of everyone, implicate kids at an industrial size scale, and nobody will give a shred of an F. I thank all of you guys for watching, and I will see you all extremely soon. Bye-bye.